So, today we're going to break down a really powerful argument, one that pretty much challenges the entire modern work system as we know it. The basic idea that your 9 to 5 isn't just a job, it's actually a trap. And it all kicks off with this pretty provocative idea right at its core. Wow, yeah, that's a pretty heavy statement to kick things off, right? The source puts this right up front to frame the entire argument that the very system you've been taught to see as normal and safe is, well, anything but. It really sets the stage for a complete teardown of the traditional career path. All right, so first up, let's talk about what the source calls the 9 to 5 trap. The idea here isn't just that your job can be, a little boring sometimes. No, the argument is that the entire structure is designed to look like this amazing opportunity when in reality it functions more like a cage. And to really get why it's a trap, you gotta look at where the whole 8-hour workday even came from. It's basically a leftover from the Industrial Revolution, created over 100 years ago for one reason and one reason only, to get the most out of factory workers. It was never, ever designed for your creativity or your fulfillment or your potential. It was designed for an assembly line. And this brings us to that whole myth of job security. The source argues that tying your entire income to one single employer is just a massive, massive financial risk. I mean, think about it. One event, a layoff, a company pivot, anything, and your entire income stream just vanishes. That safety net you think you have, according to this, it's pretty much an illusion. Okay, so if it's such a trap, how does it keep a grip on so many people? Well, the next part of this argument breaks down the very specific mechanics. We're talking both financial and psychological, that it claims keeps people locked in this cycle, even when they know they're not happy. And here it is, the core of the financial trap: inflation. The argument is simple. The cost of everything, food, rent, gas, it's always going up, and usually way faster than your salary does. So even if you get a raise, your actual ability to buy stuff, your purchasing power, is shrinking year after year. You're basically running on a treadmill that's just getting faster and faster. So when you boil it all down, look at the trade you're making every single day. You're giving away your time, which is finite, you can never get it back, in exchange for currency that is literally designed to lose value over time. The source frames us as maybe the single worst trade you can possibly make, and it's a trade we're all encouraged to make for 40 plus years of our lives. Now, this is one of the key psychological chains they talk about. It's called lifestyle creep. You get a raise, right? So what happens? You get a nicer car, a bigger apartment, more subscriptions. Your expenses just magically expand to eat up that new income. This creates what they call golden handcuffs. Suddenly, your lifestyle is so expensive that you're even more trapped in your job than you were before. And this is where it all comes together. The system works, according to this video, because it just leaves you too drained to even think about an escape. I mean, after a 40-hour week, you don't have the energy to go build a side business. You have the energy to order a pizza and watch Netflix. And that fatigue drives you to spend money for that little hit of short-term relief, which just tightens those financial chains even more. Okay, so that's all pretty bleak. But don't worry, the source doesn't just leave us there. It proposes a solution. And it all begins with a really fundamental shift in how you see yourself, in your identity. To escape, it argues, you have to stop thinking and acting like a consumer and start behaving like a producer. This slide just lays it out so perfectly. A consumer spends their free time passively scrolling, while a producer is actively creating something. A consumer spends their money buying things, while a producer invests their money in building assets. And here's the big one: the entire trade changes. You stop trading your limited time for money, and you start trading unlimited value for money. You go from passive to active. So this isn't just theory. This brings us to the actual actionable blueprint. The source really stresses that escaping isn't about just recklessly quitting your job tomorrow. No, it's about a calculated, strategic plan that you execute with discipline over time. And here's the plan in 4 stages. First, bleed the beast. That means you ruthlessly cut every non-essential expense. Every dollar you save is a little piece of your freedom you're buying back. Second, the 5 to 9 shift. You start using your evenings and weekends not just to relax, but to build valuable skills. Third, and this is key, build leverage. You create systems, maybe a digital product or a service, that can make money even when you're not actively working on them. And all of this leads to the ultimate goal. And this is it. This is the finish line. It's called the crossover point. It's that very specific moment when the income from the systems you've built in your 5 to 9 consistently covers your now minimized living expenses. The source presents this as the moment the chains are officially broken. You've bought your freedom, and you can walk away from the 9 to 5 completely on your own terms. So, after laying out the entire trap and the 4-step escape plan, the source concludes by basically putting it all back on you. It frames all this information as a fundamental choice, a choice that every single person has to make for themselves between short-term comfort and long-term freedom. And to really hammer this choice home, it leaves us with one final powerful idea. The work it takes to escape, the late nights, the sacrifices, that's a kind of pain, for sure. It's the pain of discipline. But the argument goes that pain is nothing. It weighs ounces compared to the crushing weight of looking back in 40 years with the pain of regret, which weighs tons. And so that's where we land. The whole argument, the whole blueprint, it all boils down to this one direct question. The information has been laid out, and the ball is officially in your court. The final thought isn't just about what you've learned today, it's about what you're going to do about it. Because the clock is always, always ticking.